It starts with a notification, not from your boss, not from HR, from a system, an algorithm. A process running somewhere on a server you'll never see in a building you'll never visit, managed by people who will never know your name. The message is simple, clinical, final. Your shift has been adjusted. Your performance metrics indicate a pattern inconsistent with role requirements. This decision was made automatically. You didn't get a warning. You didn't get a meeting. You didn't get a human being on the other end of that message. You got a number, a score, a verdict rendered by code. This isn't science fiction. This is just a Tuesday morning at an Amazon fulfillment center. For most of human history, management meant a person, someone who watched, someone who evaluated, someone who decided your fate based, at least in part, on knowing you. Today that idea is over. In 2018, investigative reporting from The Verge revealed that Amazon's fulfillment centers were using automated systems to track worker productivity in real time and to generate termination paperwork without requiring a human manager to initiate or review the process. Workers were being fired by algorithm, not recommended for termination. Fired. The system generated the documentation. Humans at the site were largely kept out of the loop until the decision had already been made. Amazon confirmed the system existed. They said human managers had the ability to intervene. What they didn't say, what the data suggested, was that intervention rarely happened. Think about what that means. A warehouse floor, hundreds of workers, the cameras watching, the scanners tracking, every second of idle time logged, every bathroom break measured against a productivity baseline calculated from thousands of other workers on thousands of other shifts. And at the end of that calculation, not a conversation, a file, an outcome. This was not a pilot program, this was operational infrastructure, and Amazon was not alone. Uber and Lyft, platforms built on the premise of flexible, human-centered work, have been documented using algorithmic management to deactivate drivers based on automated systems. A driver's account can be suspended or permanently deactivated based on passenger ratings, trip completion rates, and behavioral pattern flags, all processed without a human reviewer making a judgment call. Drivers have described appealing deactivation decisions to customer service channels only to receive automated responses, bounced from system to system, never reaching a human with the authority to actually review their case. The gig economy didn't eliminate the boss. It replaced the boss with something that cannot be argued with, reasoned with, or appealed to. It replaced the boss with math. Here is what algorithmic management looks like from the inside. In 2022, researchers from the University of Cambridge and the Oxford Internet Institute published findings on gig workers across multiple platforms. The workers described a consistent psychological experience. The sensation of being constantly watched, constantly evaluated, and constantly at risk, with no clear path to understanding why decisions were being made about them or how to change them. One delivery worker described it this way: you learn to game the numbers. You don't know what the numbers are watching, so you watch everything. That sentence should stay with you. This is what happens when you remove human judgment from the management chain. Workers don't become freer, they become more surveilled. Because a human manager might look the other way, might understand context, might recognize that traffic on the interstate added 20 minutes to a route. An algorithm does not look the other way. Platforms like Upwork, the freelance marketplace, use automated systems to score freelancers on a metric called the job success score. This score affects a freelancer's visibility in search results, their ability to apply for certain contracts, and how clients perceive their reliability. The score is calculated algorithmically based on client feedback, contract completion rates, and other signals. Freelancers have documented cases where a single disputed contract, even one they felt was unfairly closed, caused cascading score damage that took months to recover from, with little access to human review. Your reputation, your livelihood, managed by a system you cannot see, cannot challenge, and cannot appeal to in any meaningful way. And this is the soft end of algorithmic management. In 2018, Amazon built and then quietly dismantled an AI recruiting tool after internal teams discovered it was systematically downgrading resumes from women. The system had been trained on historical hiring data that reflected a decade of male-dominated technical hiring. It learned the pattern, it reproduced it, it discriminated at scale, automatically, without anyone intending it to. Amazon scrapped the tool. But the story doesn't end there. The story ends with the question no one answered. How long was it running before anyone noticed? IBM has developed and marketed AI-powered HR analytics tools designed to predict employee attrition, identifying workers likely to leave before they've made any decision to do so. The company has publicly stated that its AI can predict with significant accuracy which employees are flight risks, allowing managers to intervene. What this also means, in practice, is that an employee's perceived loyalty and future productivity are being calculated algorithmically. And those calculations can influence decisions about promotions, project assignments, and development opportunities. You may be managed based on what an AI thinks you're about to do, not what you've done, not what you're doing now, what the model predicts you'll do next. Workday, one of the largest human capital management platforms in the world, used by thousands of corporations, offers AI-assisted tools for performance management, talent assessment, and workforce planning. In 2023, a class action lawsuit was filed alleging that Workday's AI hiring tools discriminated against applicants on the basis of race, age, and disability. The lawsuit argued that because these tools are used as screening filters before a human ever sees a resume, the discrimination is baked in at the foundational layer, invisible, automated, and operating at massive scale. This case is ongoing, but it raised a question that won't go away. When the algorithm decides who gets seen, who is responsible for who gets left out? Now we move up the chain. Because algorithmic management didn't stay on the warehouse floor. It didn't stay in the gig economy. It climbed. Lemonade, the AI-first insurance company, has publicly described its claims process as primarily AI-driven, with the AI reviewing claims, cross-referencing submitted data against behavioral and contextual signals, and making payout decisions in seconds. The company has been transparent about this. They view it as a feature, fast, efficient, unbiased, or so the claim goes. In 2021, Lemonade faced significant backlash after a Twitter thread went viral in which a user claimed the company's AI had denied their claim based on behavioral analysis of the video statement they submitted, flagging inconsistencies that the company's system interpreted as indicators of fraud. Lemonade disputed the characterization, but the underlying architecture of what they described, AI analyzing human behavior to make financial decisions, was not disputed. A machine watched a grieving person file an insurance claim, and the machine made a judgment. IBM's Project Debater, an AI system designed to construct and deliver complex arguments, demonstrated that artificial intelligence could engage in high-level reasoning and persuasion. While not deployed as a manager, it signals the direction of travel. AI systems capable of operating in domains once considered exclusively human, including strategic communication and executive-level decision-making. In 2023, a Chinese gaming company briefly made headlines for announcing it had appointed an AI system as its CEO. The experiment was short-lived and widely covered as a curiosity. But the fact that it was attempted and that it was technically functional was not a curiosity. It was a data point. Middle management, the layer of organizational structure responsible for translating executive vision into operational execution, is, by many accounts, the most algorithmically replaceable tier of the corporate structure. Routine decision-making, performance monitoring, scheduling, resource allocation, reporting. These are tasks that AI systems are already performing, in whole or in part, at companies across every major industry. McKinsey & Company, in their own research on workforce automation, identified management activities as among the categories with significant automation potential. Not the distant future, but functions that existing technology could already partially automate. The consultants are telling their clients the manager is a target. There's a term that has emerged in academic literature on the gig economy and platform labor: algorithmic anxiety. It describes a documented psychological state, the chronic, low-grade stress of working within a system that is constantly evaluating you, that operates by rules you cannot fully know, and that can alter or end your livelihood with no warning and no appeal. Workers at Amazon fulfillment centers have described the monitoring environment in terms that echo descriptions of panopticon-style surveillance. The feeling that you are always being watched, even when no one is watching, because the system is always watching. Former content moderators at major platforms have described the experience of having their performance evaluated by AI systems that flag their work quality scores without transparent criteria, creating situations where workers were disciplined for decisions made in genuine ambiguity, with no mechanism to contest the automated assessment. In 2019, the New York Times documented the experience of workers at Google who were employed through third-party staffing agencies, subject to the same internal monitoring and performance infrastructure as full employees, but without the protections or recourse that came with direct employment. The algorithm did not distinguish. The algorithm did not care about your employment classification. The algorithm measured. Here is what we know. Amazon built a system that fired people without human review. It worked. They scaled it. Uber and Lyft built systems that deactivated workers without human appeal. They worked. Millions of people still drive for them. Workday built tools that screened job applicants before human eyes ever saw their resumes. They worked. Thousands of companies still use them. IBM built an AI that predicted which employees were about to quit before those employees had made any decision. It worked. They sold it. And somewhere, Right now, in an office building or a data center or a logistics hub, a decision is being made about someone's job, their income, their future, their ability to pay rent, and no human being is making that decision. A model is a model trained on historical data. Data that carries within it every bias, every inequity, every structural injustice of every hiring decision made by every imperfect human manager who came before it. We didn't remove the bias when we automated management. We institutionalized it. We scaled it. We made it invisible. The question is not whether AI will manage human workers. It already does. The question, the one no algorithm can answer, is who is responsible when it gets it wrong. And so far the answer has been no one. This is Ghost in the BIOS, and until next time, stay human.